and vapors had the potential to kill or seriously incapacitate them. Little wonder that they feared the demon metal. It is doubtful that today's billionaire class has reflected much on the dark power of the Cobalt. They are looking to strike the next great mineral rush, which is taking place within a broader geopolitical struggle to control the market in strategic metals. The Cobalt rush has drawn investors back to a little town in northern Ontario, a place called Cobalt. There is a powerful synchronicity in this renewed interest in Cobalt, Ontario. This is not just some old mining town looking for one more chance to flourish. The events that took place here more than a century ago set Canada on its path to becoming the world's preeminent resource extraction superpower. The country dominates the global industry. 3/4 of the world's mining companies are registered in Canada. The maple leaf flies over international zones of resource exploitation, ranging from uranium mines in the former states of the Soviet Union to gold projects in the Amazon to the metal deposits of Africa, where horrific human rights abuses are accepted as part of the cost of doing business. To make sense of this, we need to return to Cobalt, the place that let loose the demons of the earth. Introduction. The Cradle. Something dramatic happened here. You get that sense as soon as you arrive in the town of Cobalt, population 1,500, with its winding streets and hodgepodge of little houses perched atop rocky ridges. The locals will tell you about the immense wealth, riches that dwarfed the Klondike, hills that flowed with streams of pure silver that had been polished smooth by the glaciers and touched with a beautiful pink glow. This color was the fingerprint of the Cobalt demons, as cobalt turns pink when it oxidizes. The wealth of these magnificent rose-silver veins was so valuable that during the First World War the British government pleaded with Canadian authorities to avoid a miners' strike at Cobalt because of the impact it would have had on the war effort. That wealth is long gone. What remains are fading photographs at the local museum, showing streets packed with men in Stetsons, hustlers in suits, and immigrant families hauling their worldly possessions off the train. At a time when settlers in Canada were largely Anglo-Protestant or Francophone Catholic, Cobalt was giving birth to the multicultural future, all in a ramshackle place that looked like the stage set for a Wild West movie. Cobalt has been designated as both a National Historic Site and the most historic community in Ontario, but few people have heard of it. At best, it is considered to be quirky local history, but its significance has a much broader international context. Resource extraction has always taken place globally. The pursuit of natural resource wealth has pushed industry into some of the world's most far-flung frontiers and affected Indigenous people all over the planet. And the town of Cobalt is more than a mere footnote in the history of this worldwide movement of capital and resources. By disentangling the story of Cobalt from the parochial politeness of local Canadian history, we orient ourselves with deeper issues such as how the pressure of resource exploitation drove the settlement of the indigenous lands of the Americas, both prior to and as a result of the silver rush in Cobalt. We can begin with the obvious question: what happened to the money? There are no visible signs of wealth in Cobalt anymore. The famous silver sidewalk, an exceptionally rich and smooth vein, is now just a fenced-off hole. Long gone is the local stock exchange that presaged and helped launch the Toronto and Vancouver financial exchanges. The once extensive streetcar system is relegated to the stuff of lore. What remains is the detritus of a great war against the earth. The hills are deeply scarred with broken rock and blasted-out canyons. Tag alders and poplars have slowly reclaimed the multitude of mining sites that are strewn with rotting timbers, iron pipes, rusted old pails, and the occasional boot. And then there are the arsenic-green beaches, where the toxic waste from 100 mining operations was dumped into the once clear glacial waters. Cobalt was all about the money, and not a dime was left behind when all was said and done. But the implications of the mining boom from 1903 to 1921 were enormous. The sudden flush of silver money from the mines of Cobalt hit sleepy Edwardian Canada like a high-octane jolt, strong enough to change the trajectory of development.